So Urban Meyer's time's been cut short in Jacksonville, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, my. So Urban Meyer, he's been out of college football for a couple years. You know, he started at Florida. He was part of the Chris Leak, Tim Tebow legacy.
Yeah, and before that, he went undefeated in Utah.
Oh, yeah, and see, Dan Mullen.
Alex Smith was his quarterback. So.
Yep, Dan Mullen was his offensive coordinator. Then he goes to Ohio State and has some tremendous teams and tremendous recruiting. And then he stepped down from Ohio State because he was, like, having health problems.
Yeah, he did that at Florida as well. Remember, he was having heart problems after Bama beat him.
They said heart or something. It's not funny, really, but I think to some degree it's like stress problems or mental health problems. But then he does a couple years on the ESPN, you know, Fox talking head circuit.
Yeah, Fox Sports.
And then out of nowhere, he takes a job in Jacksonville.
For 5 years, right?
Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think Jacksonville knew they were going to have the first pick in the draft, which they were going to get Trevor Lawrence, and they were going to have this super combination of Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer. And then here we are, you know, 5 weeks before the end of the NFL season, and Meyer gets the pink slip last night in the middle of the night.
Right.
And I mean,
that was personal.
He's been up to some stuff that we can talk about here in a second, but like,
yeah, I think Khan told him it was his last chance about what happened. But can you fill us in, Bob, what happened with him, you know, when he was in Ohio at the bar? Do you know that story?
Urban?
Yeah, with Urban Meyer.
Well, the first thing I can think of is why in the hell did he got up one day and looked in the mirror and said, why did Dad name me Urban?
And he called his brother Rural and asked what.
He's a city man.
and that's what started the psychosis that led him into just chasing trash in local bars around there. You know, I think at some point you do, and there is a position you reach in your mind at a certain point, and it's called grandiosity. And I'm not kidding about this. I mean, Jung, you know, made it famous, and I think that a lot of times when you've got someone that they're really deeply insecure, but they got these visions of grandiosity, and they start to think they're bulletproof.
Yeah, he definitely did that, right?
And moving and the things he was doing, and he, you know, slipping around and being a celebrity, and
there was videos of him like with some 18-year-old girl like grinding on him in a nightclub. Yeah. He's obviously at some like.
It was after a Thursday night football game in Ohio, and he stayed back. The team flew back. He stayed with family, and his wife was supposedly watching the family, and he's out at his bar dancing with women and letting them grind on him. And thinking, is he that stupid though? Like,
let me mention one thing I just remembered, and it got Trump out of a fire. Remember when he talked about just walk up and grab him in the crotch? You know how they put that fire out? They just kept repeating the line. Look, that's locker room humor. All men do it. They do it when they feel like it, and somebody had a live mic on, and that's the end of it, and we're not talking about it anymore. And that shut it down. And I think, in a way, Urban felt like Superman up there, and I can get away with anything. And you know, you look at what those girls are going to do to him.
But could you imagine, like, Bill Belichick doing that? Like, Bill is home after the Thursday night game. He's sitting in the office breaking down film, you know. So we got a video, like Sports Center video.
Urban, he got fired, and Scott Van Pelt's going to tell us about it.
Urban Meyer's tumultuous NFL tenure has ended after just 13 games and 2 victories. The Jaguars have just fired him because of what owner Shad Khan is calling missteps. The moves were made just hours after ex-Jaguar player, their place kicker Josh Lambo, told a Florida newspaper that Meyer had kicked him during a practice in August. We welcome in Adam Schefter now, live on to SportsCenter. And Adam,
the
this
kick
was
heard around the world.
A finality perhaps that we could see coming, but for it to arrive at this hour of the day.
I think Khan told him that he had one more shot, too, after his missteps in the Ohio bar, where you're telling people to buy into what you have to say, that you need to do a curfew and you need to do things right, and then you're out cheating on your wife, basically.
So when did he supposedly kick this kicker?
So this happened earlier in the season.
So it's almost like the owner called this kicker up or something and be like, pull it out. pull out the story. Meyer's gone.
Just to give more fuel to the fire. But I think something happened after the game too. He was like blaming the coaches, calling for them all to be fired. That wasn't his fault. It was anybody's fault but his own fault.
So he did that.
Yeah, and this was Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks. Probably his 100th pick of the season, and I don't watch a lot of NFL. I'll tune in on Sunday hanging out, but my brother's a huge NFL aficionado, and he keeps telling me like Trevor Lawrence is playing, like he's showing a lot of good skill on the field, but one, the Jaguars have no players, and his head coach is a freaking moron. So but
the college system's not working so far. So
when is that? I mean, it's like you look what Chip Kelly tried to do at the Eagles,
it's never worked. Like look at Spurrier.
Yeah,
Washington.
I mean,
there's lots of failed cases. Jimmy Johnson worked with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and Pete Carroll, like he's had some success, but he hasn't been like a super coach.
For the most part, it doesn't work.
And the reason
when they were talking about Lincoln Riley going to the NFL, I was thinking that'll never work.
The reason Pete Carroll has been successful is because he has Russell Westbrook as his quarterback, or Russell Wilson as his quarterback.
Helps.
Yeah.
I mean, Urban might have been able to get there if he had just had time.
What?
And he didn't make all these missteps as a coach. He costed himself.
But. Now on the freespeechforum.com, they're talking about Dabo to the Jaguars. Like,
oh wow,
there's no way in hell they're gonna leap on another.
He should not do that because there's no job security in the NFL at all.
Well, but all his coaches just left him. But
he's telling everybody to pump the brakes, that it's gonna be all right. So we'll see.
Hey, now how'd that happen?
Well, Scott, I think you have to factor this in. The report came out this afternoon about Urban Meyer allegedly kicking his kicker, former kicker, Josh Lambo, during the summer. You had Shad Khan at the owners' meetings in Dallas. And so I think Shad Khan had to get back. I'm sure there were lawyers involved to try to figure out a resolution to how to resolve this relationship in the most diplomatic of ways when it's not that diplomatic. And they had to figure out how to essentially end this. Now, they have reached that decision tonight. Urban Meyer's out as the Jaguars head coach. I don't know that they've finalized any particular agreement, whether not they will pay him any of the remaining money on his contract. He signed a 5-year contract in January of 2021. So he did not even make it to the 1-year mark, Scott. Basically, has 4 years left on that contract, and I'm sure there's going to be some money in dispute here.
What was the value?
And it'll be a job for the lawyers to figure out exactly how to handle this going forward. In talking to people around the league, there are enough people who believe that the Jack.
So what do you guys think? What brought this on? What was the firing? Just his performance on field?
He kicked the kicker.
He
kicked the kicker.
That definitely sounds like a
you
leak
can't
story.
Kick the kicker because the kicker's going to kick you back.
We've got video on the kicker story, and it's really interesting, like how he treats players. That's what it's more about.
Do you really have it?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Guys, the Urban Meyer situation in Jacksonville is seriously getting out of hand right now, as there is a new report from the Tampa Bay Times that former Jags kicker Josh Lambo was somewhat assaulted by Urban Meyer during warm-ups.
Somewhat assaulted.
This occurred earlier in the season after Lambo had just missed 2 field goal attempts in the first 2 preseason games. Now, Josh is a former All-Pro, the 4th most accurate kicker in league history, so was no slouch either, but what Urban allegedly did, according to reports, was confront the kicker while warming up doing lunges and said, "Hey dipshit, make your fucking kicks," and proceeded to kick Lambo in the leg. Obviously, this wasn't a full-on assault, nor was it a love tap, but still strong enough for the kicker to report the incident to the team.
Maybe he's just trying to get
but
the best
to make matters worse, when Josh confronted his former coach, "Don't you ever fucking kick me again," Urban responded back, "I'm the head coach. I'll kick you whenever the fuck I want." Guys, if the story is 100% accurate, this is pretty insane. I know kickers somewhat get a bad rap on a team, but this is in no way how you treat a teammate,
you can't
or in
make
Urban's
this stuff
case,
up.
one of your own players. And the fact that Lambo said other players saw the altercation and could quite possibly corroborate the story is pretty nuts. With all this negative publicity coming out as of recent on the Jags organization, it's really indicative of how a head coach runs his operations. But it's even more surprising considering Urban had so much success at the college level. That being said, Josh Lambo also stated that his former coach would routinely not call out his kicking unit by their names, but instead calling them kicker, punter, or long snapper with the occasional dipshit or shitbag in there. and one time the pair came face to face at the team's facility, and things kind of got heated. Urban approached his kicker after hearing he had issues with his coaching methods and told him flat out, "Okay, you don't like me doing this. Okay, you don't like me doing that. But if you ever speak to me like that again, you'll be out of here. You're the first player I've ever let speak to me in that way in my career, and if you do it again, you're gone." So it seems like the situation really took a turn for the worse as his coach didn't like the way his kicker confronted him in front of the whole team. Josh Lambo and his agent contacted the Jaguars' legal counsel the day after the warm-ups, but said no further contact had been made from the team. Anyways, Urban Meyer was quick to downplay these rumors as he released a statement, but honestly, it remains to be seen if the coach can weather this shitstorm. He has literally been in the news every single day over the past couple of weeks with the media.
Sounds like he couldn't weather the storm.
So
he's gone.
And you know something else? Locker rooms, assistant coaches, water boys, the head coach, the hierarchy up to that, everybody talks and there's buzz. And I can just hear it in that damn locker room when Meyer's not in there with the MFs and that SOB and he's got to go. And if he looks at me like that again, I'm going to knock his teeth out. Yeah. And a lot of that let's go Brandon was probably going on. I can see where the owner's walking through in the other side of the locker room and somebody says, Meyer sucks.
Yeah.
You know, get him up.
This isn't college anymore. That's the trouble with going to college or going to the NFL is those guys are getting paid as much as you are. You know, not everything you say is
their
gold.
damn job.
But sometimes it's like, say you have like a good friend, like going to a job interview, you'd be like, "Don't fuck up, shithead." You know, it's like. But it seems like there was.
Some stuff is just locker room talk.
I'm going to remember that. That's a great line.
Yeah, but I mean, you know,
what a motivator.
In good taste, you know, in good taste, yeah.
That's a good one.
But it seemed like what they're saying is that he was not being friendly. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty funny what he's saying to these guys.
I mean, some of it's just locker room talk. You know, guys talk like that, but. That's kind of disrespectful for him to like not ever call a kicker or snapper by their name. That he always has a nickname for them, or just and kind of treats them like that. So get the insight down how he is as a coach.
The owner might have sat down one night with a yellow legal notepad and just started listing all the unprofessional things that were going on his team. And you know how you sort of get this this whole zeitgeist. Of that team, and he just thought, son of a bitch, we're just a bunch of fucking jerks. Our coach is losing it. People are getting punched and kicked. He's kicked the bar, just everything. And he probably just said, we're imploding.
Yeah.
And because to me, that was personal. He probably said, I'm sick of that mofo. And he picked up that phone and called him personally. Said, you piece of shit, pack your bags, you're gone.
I think Khan he's a Muslim owner, but he's a real hothead. Like he
didn't look like you should mess with him.
Oh, yeah. He's gone through like 4 coaches, though, I believe. But he's just kind of a billionaire guy that a real hothead. And you don't piss him off. And he'll axe you and heartbeat. The money doesn't matter.
I think it'll help a lot of professional teams, and it's going to make a lot of people tighten up their sphincter, as they say. You better get your act together, or I'm going to do an Urban Meyer on you.
Gruden got fired earlier this year. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
They got short leash.
And it was based on, I mean, an email he sent that was, you know, there was some racism in the email,
he's filing
racist connotations or whatever.
He's already filed a counter lawsuit.
But that was like, I mean, I think that email was from like years back, but
yeah, it was 10 years. Before when he worked for ESPN.
Yeah, anyways.
And, of course, ESPN leaked it, though.
Well, but pretty soon we'll have football where they'll be, like, changing coaches every week, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a new coach every week. Spin the coach wheel.
Yeah, we'll have to keep following this story, though. Because
I love it. That's good. Pat Sajak up there, you know. Spin the coach wheel. That's
cool. Well, who's going to want to go to Jacksonville? Because, like, you sign a 5-year deal, it means nothing. Like, he can just get rid of you. So
Gus Malzahn.
Hey, Gus would probably go.
The Gus bus goes down to Jacksonville.
There's a forum. I mean, there's a thread out there, right, on the free speech forum about this.
Yep. There's any discussion, any interesting thing going on, we're always talking about it on the website. So.
Yeah, we got a great homepage too. So we're not just a discussion website, news and information. It's all out there.
Improving the site. I mean, every day that goes by, we're working on getting better. So
and growing like crazy. We
got join the
over
community.
2,700 members.
And I want to invite everybody out there. Make a prediction. Tell us who you think is going to end up where and when, because somebody can nail it. So go for it. Let us know what you think.
Yep. See y'all.
All right. Catch you next time.